All right, I'm going to call the regular council meeting for June 24th, 2024 to order. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilperson Friedmeier.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and take roll. Councilperson Bradley? Here. Councilperson Kemper? Here. Councilperson Ginevra?
Here.
Councilperson Friedmeier?
Here.
Councilperson Fisher? Absent. Councilperson Schomburg? Absent. Councilperson Winkleman? Absent. Councilperson Massa? Here. Thank you. Once you have a moment to look at the agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the council meeting for June 24th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve the agenda for June 24th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, has the agenda been posted, dated, and signed? Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we got several minutes to go through, but I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of May 20th once you've had time to look at those, just the regular May minutes. The closed minutes are in the binders that you guys have looked at, but we'll do them separately. I'll do May 20th open, May 20th closed, then I'll do June 10th closed, June 10th special meeting.
Make a motion to approve the open city council meeting for May 20th, 2024.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the closed minutes May 20th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the closed minutes for the special meeting on June 10th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the special meeting on June 10th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Public comment, we had nobody sign up. Check register and bills, financial report, sales tax report is in your packet. I'll give you a moment to look at that, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve those. The sales tax and everything is up in all accounts from last year. It shows that in the last little column of your revenue.
Make a motion to approve check register bills and financial report and sales tax report.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Committee reports are in your packet. I'll give you a moment to look at them. Mr. Turner, our streets are looking good. We've been patching quite a bit, and
Put some time in on the patching crews, and I know it's, people don't see it, but they're out there. So hopefully, here the next week or so, we'll get back out again in full force. They did about 20 tons, 2 and 3 tons at a time, so in the past 3 weeks, I guess.
well, they've been busy doing concrete repairs all sides of town, so
They've been bouncing around. They did a really good job right here. I don't know if anybody knows Second and Taylor, that quick job, so they turned out really well.
no, it's nice. And just today, I mean, it's in your report, but they cleaned out that.
It was all finished. We got about 60 feet left. We'll hopefully get back in there tomorrow and finish up.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Chief Bova, you have anything to add on your report?
I have nothing.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Sullivan's information is in there, as well as our DNR report, color-coded. If you guys have any questions on that, we can email him and get a response. And Chief Helms. We have your report, and then you may have the floor, sir.
I'm in the hot seat, huh?
You are, that's correct.
Could I have 4 officers come up, please? So I will make this pretty brief, I promise. I don't trust you behind me.
I'll stand alongside you.
Fan out over here a little bit. So normally, obviously, they're not standing there, right? So,
We,
I may have to bring them back around a little bit. We got a few council missing, but tonight, I'll begin here by, we had talked in the past, I think Jason and I and the mayor and some others about Know Your Patrol a little bit. I think that's the name we come up with mutually, was Know Your Patrol. So we thought it was a good idea periodically. I'll try to keep it pretty consistent to bring some of our police officers before you, and maybe other departments can do the same, and just kind of know our police officers. I mean, they're here all the time, 24/7, 365, protecting us. And we appreciate that. So one of the greatest things about being in Crystal City, and I've been here since 1997, is knowing the people in this community and working with city government. It can't be any better. So that's what we expect out of each other, all of us, is to work with the city and everybody else. So we'll begin with Know Your Patrol, where I briefly introduce you to the police department staff, namely for purposes of getting better acquainted, especially with some of the newer employees, right? But before I do, you'll notice in your packet is your monthly report, and then also in there, this was actually brought to my attention by more than one person, so at some point, I believe we dropped it into your council packet, that we received some recognition that we were recognized as one of the 20 safest cities in Missouri. We came in at 16th. So as chief of police, I'm very proud of that. I'm also very proud of all our personnel and the efforts they put forth daily. It takes a great team to be successful, and I have one. In today's policing, I can't do this job, and we can't protect this city the way it needs to be protected without the people you see standing here. That's just plain and simple. I have a great team, and that great team will continue to make Crystal City successful. So when I started thinking, what was I going to say about each of them, I gave them a little something to fill out. They could give it back to me. So we'll just do a little lightning round with each person here in a minute. But as I was looking, we all wear a lot of hats. Everybody up here does a lot of things to keep the department running. And one of them is chief of police. Every day when I come in, I speed read reports. I look at things happening. I start determining what I need to get done for the day, and we start divvying up responsibilities, and away we go for another day. So we kind of started looking at this at the beginning of the month, and I made a few notes here just to inform you. So I just want to take a couple minutes of your time to inform you about some of the events these and other officers have handled in just the first 10 days of June, This is a small sample to show what our personnel are confronted with and what it takes to maintain a high level of security for our town. So to relieve you of this, I will not be doing this every month when I bring people before you, but I thought what a great way to start this, just to give you some information of what it takes for these people to do their job and keep us safe. June 2nd, arrest of 2 suspects for felony possession of methamphetamine. June 4th, a crisis intervention of a suicidal subject. June 4th, a second crisis intervention of a different suicidal subject. June 7th, assault of a nurse at Mercy Hospital, Jefferson. June 7th, a parental kidnapping. June 7th, a DWI in which the suspect spoke very little English, and as of recent, we've had to use a translator now in multiple criminal incidents. June 8th, fugitive felony arrest. This occurred at our Walmart. Initially, a suspect was seen stealing from that location. The suspect had a $40,000 drug warrant out of Washington County Sheriff's Department. June 8th, a traffic stop, fugitive felony arrest. The suspect was wanted by the U.S. Marshals Service for a high-level identity theft. This was initiated from a flock camera. We now have 2 flock cameras, and they have already had multiple hits of criminal activity in our town within the first week of use. June 8th, a resisting arrest, which occurred on Mississippi Avenue. The suspect was very unruly and very belligerent to the officers, and eventually, after being taken into custody, had to be placed in a restraint chair. June 9th, DWI arrest from a traffic stop. occurred in Twin City Mall lot. The driver was extremely intoxicated and had a 6-month-old baby in the back seat of the vehicle. June 9th, a third crisis intervention. This involved a suicidal female subject that was walking in traffic on Truman Boulevard near the trestle. June 10th, felony stealing at Hibbett's near Sports, nearly $2,000 in merchandise was taken. June 11th, assault second degree occurred at a local business. The victim was maced, and physically assaulted with a weapon. The suspect was identified as a local homeless subject. This is only 13 of the 42 police reports taken in the first 10 days of June. This does not include total calls for service that they went to and answered. The total calls for service for the month, as we stand here presently today, when I pulled stats, was 1,713 calls for service. 1,713 calls for service. Although I submit a monthly report to mayor and council each month, it's always important to know that there's a lot going on within the police department at all levels and positions to keep the operation running properly and to keep our citizens in town safe. I rarely go anywhere without getting compliments on our department and their actions. Within the last few days, actually, I put it recently, but I stopped in a Petal and Pie, a business within our town, and I was going to spend my own money on some Crystal City tax money, right? I was going to eat a pizza, and I pulled up and sat there. I was by myself. It didn't take very long before the owner come over, and he thanked me for 2 different incidents that our police department took care of, and one of them was getting stolen merchandise back before it could even leave our town. I was in another business last week doing something, and a person approached me from the First Baptist Church and wanted to make sure that I knew and I would thank our officers for multiple situations they've handled within their church. While I was at the Crystal City pool a couple of days ago visiting my wife during the lunch hour because she is off and at the pool, I walked through the gates and I'm sitting there, and as a policeman I always look around to see who I do or don't know. That just comes with the territory, right? And as I'm there, a lady comes up to me and she said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "I sure do. I haven't seen you in a long time." And she said, "I won't interrupt you, but I want to tell you thank you for taking care of our pool park and my home in Crystal City, and you tell your people that. It makes me and my family feel safe," she said. I just hired a new dispatcher, happy to have her, and she's just getting going. And when I interviewed her, she said, "I want to compliment your police officers because they've helped me when other agencies have failed to do so." I talked to a Crystal City citizen and one of the winningest coaches to ever come from this area. And he made a point not too long ago to pull me off to the side, and he said, "I want to tell you something." He said, "I put a lot of teams together, and I put a lot of winners together." And he said, "Crystal City is a winner, and you need to know that as the chief." And I said, "I appreciate that." So I say those things not to boast or brag or anything else. I say that just to thank them and make sure that people are aware that they're policing a pretty tough society right now. And I think most people understand that, and it takes each one of these people right here to come daily and do what they do, and I appreciate what they do. So thank you. Saying that, now you're in the hot seat. So first up, and you can tell me, is it LaChance or LaShawn?
LaShawn.
Okay, because I heard it both ways. So this is Patrolman McKenna LaChance. Her hire date is 3/5/24. She's just getting going. Her residence is in Festus. We've got her about halfway where we want her. We'll keep moving. This was just a sheet I asked him to fill out a little bit, so I'll just, like I said, give you a little lightning round. She went to high school in Farmington. She attended the Mineral Area Police Academy. One of the questions I asked, why you chose Crystal City Police Department, her response is, "I felt wanted as if the department was very welcoming. After being here for just a short amount of time, I quickly realized that's true." What's your favorite thing about being a police officer, helping my community, and gaining their trust and my ability to protect them? What do you do for fun? Spend time with family and friends. So nothing too out of the box. A couple of things about McKenna is I went to her graduation the other day, and as she goes across the podium and is involved in that ceremony, we're looking at the valedictorian of the class. we're looking at she received the Director's Award, which is basically the best overall recruit of the class. She was a top marksmanship, top defensive tactics, and now she is in field training with our police department, getting trained, at least right now, by Patrolman Montgomery. So we're happy to have her, and congratulations on a successful academy, and we're looking forward to her moving forward. Second up is Patrolman Sam Weezy. So I put AKA Smiley, so you know, the guy never quits smiling. I've never seen anything like it. His hire date was July 5th, 2022. Residence right now is St. Louis, and we're working on that. We're going to get him closer. Yes, sir. Right. And on family, he just had his mother listed as Mary. He went to St. Pius High School. He attended Mineral Valley College. He has 2 years of SIUE. Why did you choose Crystal City Police Department? He said, I grew up in the Festus Crystal City area and I wanted to be close to my hometown while serving the community. Favorite thing about being a police officer is receiving the opportunity to help the community while getting criminals out of the community. What do you do for fun? I go to the gym, I fish, and I play video games, he says. He recently, at the Optimus Club, we had a lunch there every year. We recognize our Officer of the Year. He was recognized as our Officer of the Year. He leads in most, if not all, categories in things such as arrest, traffic enforcement, reports, calls for service. So he's had an outstanding year. Patrolman Curtis James. Hire date, 2019, December 15, 2019. He's a Festus resident, and he listed a wife with 3 children. He did come from Bowling Green, Missouri. We're not sure how that all transpired, so we'll save that story for another day. Police academy he attended was Jefferson College. He has a Associate of Applied Science degree, and he chose Crystal City Police Department because he wanted to be close to where he lived. Favorite thing about being a police officer, I enjoy most aspects of being an officer. Any special assignments you have with the department was the question. He's a field training officer, so when we get new officers, they go probably about 3 months with a seasoned officer before they're even eligible to be out on their own. If they come with experience, then it could be a tad different. But it's a big responsibility they take on when they take on putting somebody in their car and teaching them how to be a police officer. When you come out of the police academy, you know a lot, right? But you don't always know everything. We're always learning, so there's 3 months involved in that, so I appreciate it. He plays video games and he works out. He's recently got pretty buff on us here lately. So he just received a Crisis Intervention Award, which I brought him here for. We went to the CIT banquet. He got recognized for that, and that's a big deal. And a few of these incidents I was looking at, he's handling other crisis situations. So obviously he does very well with helping people in need. He's a good communicator. The other thing I listed on him was he helps with technology when he can at times. He's pretty tech savvy. I gave him a little static about it, but he starts talking about things that really I'm like, hey, Curtis, just tell me, like, can you explain this like real simple? Because I don't understand that. But he's really good at tech stuff. So like I said before, you know, we rely on the team. They all bring something to the table, and everybody has their strengths. Sergeant Kyle Boyer. Hire date was 2000, and then he put again in 2017, so we got him back. September 2018, he was promoted to sergeant. He's a Festus resident. He's married, 19 years, with 1 adult son. The high school he attended was Crystal City. Police academy he attended was SEMO and Jeffco. He has an Associate of Applied Science college degree. I asked him why he chose Crystal City. He said, I wanted to work for the city I grew up in, and the department is well respected in the county. Favorite thing about being a police officer, leading the officers I work with while challenging them and myself to strive for perfection to reach a level of excellence. Special assignments, field training coordinator, firearms instructor, taser instructor. And most of that's in-house stuff, even as taser instructor and firearms instructor. And they actually, when you're an instructor, in-house instructor, you have to you have to keep accreditation through the state of Missouri, and you have to have lesson plans and everything else. So it's just not as easy as going, hey, we're gonna do this for 2 or 3 hours. You have to present it and present it back to the state, so we get credit for it. One thing, I asked him what you change about the department, and he put to increase patrol staff. I think everybody sees that our area's getting busier, and it's gonna continue to get busier, and they are the frontline boots on the ground. What do you do for fun? He spends time with family, he reads, and MMA training. So don't body check me or anything. I put a couple notes here. One of them was, the first one was, I depend heavily on Sergeant Boyer in the areas of school and church safety. Sergeant Boyer has both police and private sector training, which applies to these areas. It's vitally important to our community, our schools and our churches. We have several churches. Most people don't realize that, but we do. And then as the city of Crystal City and the Twin Cities, you know, something to always keep in mind is, you know, we're just a stone's throw away from other communities, and if they have any needs, there's a good chance that we're going to address those needs also. So a lot of churches, a lot of schools, and I appreciate that. That's a very important thing. I also put that he has been and still is great help in conducting, coordinating as it relates to many of our special details. That's the other thing. When I was captain one time, I always tell the story. I went to Chief Jeff McQuarrie and I said, hey, we got to stop something. He said, what's that? I said, special events, because I took a whole page of what our special events was. A lot of people don't realize like how many special events we work, and they work 24/7, 365, shift work, everything else. But then you got firecracker festivals, Twin City Days. We used to have balloon glows. We got car shows. The list just goes on, and we have to staff that. So a lot of that staffing comes in their off time when they come in, and Christmas parades and Halloween things. So a lot of that, they don't really have a choice, and sometimes as chief of police, I just tell them when they have to work, and I don't get balking and squawking, and they come in here and we got to get the job done, but it takes a lot of extra time and coordinating to do that, and I appreciate that. And then the last thing I have for Sergeant Boyer is he likes things, I'll say, squared away. That was my word, squared away. Training, uniforms, vehicles, equipment, etc. And this helps to set a positive example to other officers and those under his command, while also helping in safety and security of our personnel. I don't take that lightly. He takes the lead on a lot of that stuff and sets that example that I'm looking for, so that we can stay professional, we can stay well-trained, we can keep moving down the road. And I mess with him sometimes because I have a fairly anal personality, but I think he's right there with me. But when it comes to cars, equipment, and how he wants things run, he keeps a pretty tight ship, and I appreciate that. So in saying that, I think that's enough. I didn't want to take up much of your time. I didn't plan on bringing 4. I was going to bring 2, but we're just going to have to bring them in chunks when we can, because we have several people to get through. But I just think it's a good idea to put you in front of them. They're all approachable. They're all approachable. So anything you need, let them know. If you need to talk to them, you call them to your house. If there's anything we can do for you, our job is to take care of the people of Crystal City and do it the best we can. And it's a full-time job right now. So they're doing great at it, and I appreciate it. And that's what I have.
Thank you.
Any questions for these? Well, you got them in front of you, front and center?
I've got something. And Chief Helms, I was going to ask you, but given the introductions that you just gave, maybe I should ask Officer James what a flock camera is.
What a flock camera is?
Yeah, I've never heard of what that is before.
So the flock safety cameras are utilized all over the country, all over the state. Basically, they take photographs of license plates that go through intersections. And on our end, we can see that. We can also attach wanted persons or wanted suspects on vehicles, subjects who are known to drive that vehicle with warrants to those plates. When they go through the flock camera, it sends an alert to our dispatchers and to us that that vehicle is in our area. So, like for instance, the report that Chief Helms had notified you guys about with the $40,000 felony warrant out of Washington County, we actually were originally alerted to that by a flock camera. It told us that the vehicle was in the area of Walmart. So our officer responded down there and located that vehicle along with their stealing.
So where are these cameras at? We have one in Walmart? And
We don't have one in Walmart. The closest one right there is at the intersection of Trim and Bailey.
Our city just recently, recently purchased two, and we look at that and strategically place them along with where really mainly Festus would have them so that we can utilize the cameras to get the majority of the traffic. There's probably room for a little more, down the road possibly, but I've told people, and I'm not even doing exactly what they're doing, but, you know, I got a detective or two that sits in there beside me every day, and, you know, I roll around with them and get tail ends of information, and they're out doing their thing, but right now, it's one of the most incredible things that I've seen in law enforcement in my career.
Something we voted on here?
Oh, we did? Oh,
It's a very good tool in solving a lot of different types of crimes, and a lot of them are real serious crimes, and what it does, it enables police officers and detectives probably primarily, but law enforcement to identify quickly and get to where the problem is and locate and take people into custody.
so they're tied into all of the databases, I guess, too. So if somebody's armed and dangerous and tied to a particular license plate, it'll just tell you if it found that person in our area or something like that, I guess, right?
Yes, sir, if it's a wanted person that's associated with that vehicle.
Very good.
It's tied into a big network. I mean, it could be in Florissant, Missouri, and they put information in that system, and it will alert us if that vehicle's here.
Is it called like NCIC or something, or, I know Mules is a Missouri database. What's the national?
So Flock is its own system.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But it's not tied into the government systems at all?
So it's not
Okay.
tied into our mules or NCIC or anything like that. It's
Gotcha.
its own system.
You might have been thinking of, sorry, you might have been thinking of Regis or Mules or something like that, but it's its own system.
Do Amber Alerts go to that? If you have a license plate and all that, will they show up on that?
I believe.
Yeah, to my knowledge, yes.
If whatever agency
Puts it in.
puts it in under that plate, yes.
Thank you, officers. Thank you, chief. Yes, sir.
Vincent, you brought it up about the, interpreters you had to get in. Are we seeing a lot of that?
We're seeing an influx,
Non-English speaking.
we're seeing an influx of the need to have a translator on front and center, yes.
Well, we might at some point need to look at,
I'm just thinking, last I checked, we're not a sanctuary city. How are we handling this if we get a bunch of people showing up?
Well, that might be a bigger topic for a different day, but, yeah.
I appreciate this, though. I think it's a really good idea, Chief.
yeah,
Thanks for doing it.
thank you.
If you see one of them, aggravate them, you got my permission out in the public, and have at them, so.
Thank you, officers.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go around to our council liaison reports. The Councilperson Freemeyer, Planning and Zoning.
Yep, we have a meeting on July the 11th. It was supposed to be on the 4th, but since it's a holiday, they moved it to the 11th.
July 11th. Those at 6:30 or 6:30?
I think it's 6:30.
I believe so. All right. Councilperson Ginever, Zoning Appeals Board. I don't
I don't think there's anything on the schedule.
Can you go back to Mary's on Park? I don't know if she's out of town or whatever.
Yeah, we can go to,
My wife, myself, grandkids, we go to the pool a lot. And last year, I think I commented how nice it was. This year, it's still.
the pool is?
Like, if anybody wants to pass this on to whoever, it's been dirty or more. Yeah.
I will pass that along.
Kathy saying that?
Not yet.
I don't know if she can, yeah.
Yep, I will address that as soon as we get done with this meeting. No worries. All right, Library Board, I skipped over them because the councilperson wasn't here, but did anyone have anything for the library we need to address? Park, got that. All right, moving on. Public response, does anyone have anything from the May 20th meeting they would like to discuss? All right. Old business, we have none. New business, we have Emmanuel Lutheran Church approval for closure of Briarton Lane for Church Fun Fest Sunday, July 28th, 11 to 3. Jason, you have anything to add to that?
I don't, it's in your packet, they do this every year, but with the 50th.
Chief, you have any issues with that? We do it every year. All right, I'll entertain the motion to approve that closure.
Someone,
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. The next approval we need is for Jefferson County Growth Association. That's that bottleneck bridge ride, the bike ride. They closed down 67. They have a police escort in through Crystal City. They've done that for several years. I believe it's like the 14th year. It's a great event. It brings in hundreds of bike riders through Crystal City. So, I'll entertain a motion to approve the annual bottleneck bridge ride on Sunday, August 11th.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, back to what Chief said earlier, yeah, a lot of these special extra events and everything, if you ever feel the need, say not to us. Say what? I said, if you ever feel the need, you can tell us, no, I can't do this, I don't have.
Yeah, if we're spread too thin.
Yeah, we can tell us, we won't vote, I'll vote no on it.
Yeah, we can manage what we got.
Yeah, like to have these events, but, hey,
Yeah, it's one of the things that, it's been addressed, and we ask about it, like, hey, how many's on there? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Then we have our liquor licenses.
make a motion to approve the 4 liquor licenses on the report.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Ordinances and resolutions, we have 0 this month. I know, makes for a quick meeting. Then we go to city administrator's report. I'll give you a moment to read through that if you haven't, and, Mr. Eisenbach will take the floor. He needs to explain item number 1, I believe is on there, correct?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Eisenbach, you have the floor.
So, the Joker's paving started Hickey White Park about 3 weeks ago, and quickly came into some pretty unstable soil, that they're working with down there. But come to find out, after doing a little bit of research, with former city clerk and Mr. Friedmeier, confirmed it, that was kind of where we placed all the old sandbags when it used to flood. So that's basically poorly placed backfill is what they're dealing with. So when Jokers got into, disrupting the soil down there, they found some old foundations that were buried, things of that nature, and the ground wasn't, holding water, which would make sense now that I know it's basically sand, sandbags of that nature. So we got a hold of Cochran and talked to their, geotech engineer, talked to Larry Goodwin, talked to Joker's Paving, and the plan that we have came up with is to dig out more of that soil and stabilize it with, 4-inch clean rock, about 2 foot thick, and then compact it in lifts. The geotech said he didn't even need to come down to look at it. If that's the plan that we've came up with, he thinks it makes sense. It's just poorly placed soil. There's nothing there that, is causing him to concern and come down. He thought the plan that I worked through with Goodwin Brothers is the right path. So, with that being said, we had the, original contract with Jokers, was for $251,000. We had their, stabilize the soil, which is digging that out, bringing in over 112 loads of shot rock, and, some geotech and other things. We need, they added additional $59,142 to stabilize the soil. So the total contract would be $310,142. The engineer's estimate was almost $400,000, so we're still below what an engineer's estimate is.
All the stuff we're digging out, what's it gonna go?
I assume I don't know if they're gonna take it out of there or just move it around to other places in the park. If
It's gonna be moved off site, will have to be sampled.
I sampled that at one point. I've got all that, probably 8-10 years. Bev Sweet was still here when I sampled all that. We did the soil sampling. I had that sample, so there was nothing abnormal that came back at the time. So I haven't talked to Grant other than I'm going to take it to the city council to get approval. He's good with this plan. The point is we either fix it now and do it right, or to make sure it's going to long-term stability. And Jokers is concerned about putting their name behind something we don't fix right, too. So we're all on board that this is probably the best way to do it.
Can you review where the money's coming from for,
This out of the 80 fund, the stormwater and parks fund.
okay,
The park
that's the $300,000, the original budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they had, the original thing was about 250, so there's about 50,000 that we have
Right.
set aside for that. We were hoping to spend it on a bathroom, but the council last month approved an extra 30 for that. So we're still in good shape, it's not great to spend, just to see an unforeseen $50,000 of rock. But once it's done, and it's done right. So I'd like that park to be around for a long time, and it's just kinda time to get this park across the finish line. It's been,
Yeah, it's like when we built the street shed, we ran into Collet, we ran into old footings, we didn't, I don't know what happened 30 years ago when they did all this stuff, but they didn't take it with them. So anything we build around here now, even houses, you're finding Collet and sandbags and everything
That
else.
geogrid fabric, it works good.
We did that back here, didn't we? Yeah, so,
Up in Alaska, when we was in the guards up there, we had to go across this swamp like 1,200 feet, and it was a swamp. We was walking on it, rolling that geogrid out, and it was spongy. And, then we started they blasted a hill, and we started bringing rock in. And we was putting DA dozers, which weigh almost 60 ton, and that thing was tight. It was unbelievable how hard that surface got.
Mhm,
That
that's good.
geogrid. And this ground ain't near as soft as that was, but it works.
well, I'll entertain a motion to approve the expenditures of, I don't have my paper right there in front of me, but the overages for, Jokers.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
that's all I had.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Eisenbice?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Good deal. All right, moving on to the mayor's report. I have the 2024 board appointments. You have a separate paper at your desk there. We got BOZA, P and Z, Library Board. It's not in the packet, it's a separate, and Police Personnel Board. To my knowledge, the directors have been contacted them, and everybody's still good with that. So, with your guys' approval, if anybody doesn't object, I'd like to just do it as a all-in-one. If you want me to break them apart, I can, but I'd,
I'll make a motion to approve the appointments in its entirety.
Second.
perfect, thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the 2024 board appointments. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. At this time, anyone in the audience have anything to question?
Mr. Denver already asked my question, so thank you, Jeff.
Perfect. All right. Then we have Mermaids at the Pool this Saturday for the, parks. Basically, a couple years ago, I was like, hey, let's get events, bring it into Crystal City. Something I would have never thought of is Mermaids at the Pool. But they've had 50 people sign up, and that's an event that's happening this Saturday at the pool. So, I wanna thank the park department, and, they're doing a good job organizing the event, and Pam Meese has done a great job on that. And then, happy 4th of July to everyone, and please be respectful of your neighbors and our ordinances with the 4th of July. We are supposed to get rain before then, so hopefully that does come in and cool things off as well, so. All right, that's all I have. Round table, Councilperson Bradley? Councilperson Kemfer? Councilperson Ginevra?
I'd like to bring up something on the, city administrator's report, 26 Mississippi Avenue. So they actually are considering renovating that property now, even though it's for sale. So how does that work?
He called and asked if, I would meet with him, I talked to the mayor, we set up a meeting with him Friday, I think.
I believe so, yeah, Friday. It was a pretty productive meeting. It went smooth.
I think,
It's just Dan?
I think in his life,
Okay.
and I think he sees something there, he feels there's value and an opportunity there. We had to, kind of talking around some issues with the adjoining property owners, work through some of that, but I think it sounds, at least to me, like he still wants to investigate. It sounded more like a boutique hotel, high-end hotel type thing, he doesn't wanna make it his residence anymore. But he's looking for any kind of incentive,
So-
he can offer.
So did you think of anything that,
Well, there's the store tax credits, which I got some stuff to do about that. And one other idea I've had for a long time is to do, like you see, the SID, from Second Street basically to Briarton. So anytime that, you know, it's kinda like Perryville did in their downtown, they passed the SID or a tax down there, so it's kind of like an economic development tool to renovate facades on buildings. Somebody can come to us and say, yeah, I wanna paint the front of my building, get new windows, and we can give them a small interest loan for, you know, 2% or 10 grand, whatever, however it's set up.
Okay.
So there's tools out there, it's just what do we wanna do and what's work. So I'm doing a little bit of research on this on our end, and he's gonna do some research. I guess he's got another project in Illinois, and he's got people that know these programs. I don't know if they know the Missouri side, but I'll put something out on my listserv, asking communities for other communities to have done, and we'll come up with some ideas. Seems like he was interested to come back.
Yeah, it was a productive meeting, and basically we both left with homework to do on how to get his project, what we can offer him and what he can offer us. So it was a productive meeting. We got research to do and go from there, and Jason will present that information to the council when he gets it.
I have a quick question too, if I can.
Yes, sir.
The lot that the public's talking about buying, is that right? How many lots do we own down there?
I think we have 7 or 8 down in, down in Ward One, that some we've given to Habitat, so I think we have about 7 left.
Are we wanting to get rid of them, or are we wanting to?
In 2020, the council gave me permission to get rid of it. I already showed up shortly after that and had time to deal with it. So she called out the board, these are right next to her house. She actually been taking care of them, I think they have a garden on one, that kind of thing. So we're waiting on to get an appraisal. He's appraising actually, what, I think what he said was, 1 lot could be basically what they're all worth, if there's 1 or 2 available, so.
Yeah, he said basically all the lots are gonna be within $1,000, $2,000 each, so he's just gonna do one big appraisal to cover basically everything.
And she's inquired about this a lot of times too. So once we get an appraisal, I'll have to come back to you guys, we'll double check with Brandon to make sure that we don't have to actually put out, but if Ken get it, let her buy it as an interested buyer. It does touch the adjoining property owner, which was Sid Brown, and which is, I guess, is her, a relative of her, so I said, you can check with them, and they don't want any part of this lot, that takes 1 step out of the process. So she's done a bit of homework, and we're doing some homework, and we'll break that.
Are these as good as the last one we sold, Raiders? The last one that bought some of them?
Yeah, I feel like the right one did join theirs.
Yeah.
They bought that corner. They bought that corner.
So there's 2, she only thought it was 1 lot, there's actually 2 lots.
Yeah, probably. What that one was. It's right across. It was like $500, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't very much. There's been people interested in these lots, but a lot of them want to split them up into like duplexes, they don't want single family houses. So that's been the caveat. Some people have asked about them, but, you know, they want to rezone them. I'm like, well, you're taking that chance on your own. And, you know, I don't know if they're gonna you know, would let you put a duplex in there. So.
All right. Any further? Councilperson Freemeyer.
I have nothing.
Thank you. Councilperson Massa. All righty. Treasurer Cherry, you have anything? Nothing? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you.
I texted Don, he's sitting sick right now, but he'll be on Wednesday, he'll be on Wednesday.
I don't know if that works.